Welcome back. So in this video, we are going to finish off in our Blender software, at least for the time being, preparing our asset. Now, some of these things will include creating material for our asset, but also packing our UV shells into one single material, and then how to export it out for our texturing software. As well as just finalizing any of the mirroring, duplicating any of the required pieces we need to get the look that we want to look. So the first thing we're going to do here is I want to create a material for this. Now I could create potentially two materials. The first material I could call it maybe piano, and the next material I could call stool. If I want to maybe have it like that, I might in this case just call it piano and just put everything all into one. I think that would be fine for what we're doing here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to my panel on the right hand side and look for materials property, which is red kind of globe, or I guess a red sphere shape down towards the bottom. And I want to go to new, and then I want to just name this material. I'm going to call it piano. Now you can call whatever you want, but whatever you put in there, whatever material you create for it, that's what's going to go into your Substance Painter. And when you export out the files, it's just one less step. It'll then be called piano for your textures, and just a little easier than something like default texture 1. It just helps, I think. And now this is going to be white by default, which is fine. I mean, that'll work out. So what I want to do now is I want to select all, and I want to select piano. And so now what's going to happen if I look at this? In fact, let me go ahead and make this blue really quick. You'll notice only one item has this material, so make sure you apply to all items. So you could potentially go through here and select each one, one at a time, which is pretty time consuming. But instead, I will go ahead and I'm going to select all, and I want to make sure I select on one of my blue pieces last. And then if I go up to object and go to make links, I'm going to select materials. Now this will apply to all of it. So it's a little faster than actually going through and customizing each one. And then we'll change this back to white, just because I think white's going to give us the look we're going for. So there you go. Now it's all white. Because if you have it blue, then it'll be, the base will be blue, and it'll kind of have a little bit of bluish tint perhaps. Kind of depends on what you're doing, but by putting it white, it's going to be like a blank canvas essentially. So now we have the material made up, and we have it named, and everything has the material on it. We're good to go. So I'm going to go back into my viewport shading. Now what I want to do next, I want to select all these pieces, and if I were to go to my editing or my UV editing, you'll notice that if I select any one of these, go ahead and you'll see there, all these things are taking up UV space. Now the problem is if I were to select all of this, you'll see that all these are overlapping. So if I were to, for example, draw on the stool, part of that wood grain might go onto the keys, which is not what we want. So we actually want to lay this out so therefore everything's all has its own little UV space to be painted on and not be obstructed by other things that will look different. So I'm going to select all. So again, I'm going to go my object mode, select the first item, and then hit Control A to select all. Otherwise you can go to select all, and then I want to go into my face mode. That's the 3 key, and again select all. And now we have all these here, which I can then hit while hovering in this window on the left hand side. I'm going to hit Control A to select all. And now what I want to go to do is hit UV. So that's my left hand side, UV. And with everything selected, I want to go to average island scales. So basically what it's going to do is it's going to basically size out your UV shells based on the 3D space. So for example, if I were to look at this shell here, or even let's say if this key here, see how small that key is, it shouldn't be taking up all this space. As you can see right now, that UV shell takes about this much space right here. In reality, it should not be taking up as much space as let's say this much larger piano base. So what's going to happen here is when I select all, let me go ahead and select all again. When I select all, I'll go to UV average island scale. It's going to proportionally scale everything down to the right size based off how large it is in a 3D space compared to the other items in that 3D space. So now that's been done, and now it just looks like an even bigger mess, but now the difference is it literally is a bigger mess. It's not necessarily organized. So then I'm gonna go back to UV again. I'm gonna go to Pack Islands, and this is gonna be where it's going to basically smash all those shells into the space given, like there. And now by default, the margin might be something like 0.01, which is pretty stinking tight. Let's go with something like maybe 0.02 might be good. I think it's pretty good. So there are a few spaces here where I'm like, dang, I really wish I could utilize this space here a little bit better. I wish that this space was used a little better, and that's going to happen sometimes. You know, you can change the margins a little bit, but it looks like in this case, I'm pretty much stuck with what I got. So I'm going to go 0.015 perhaps. And I think this, even though there are spaces where I think I could utilize the space a little better, I'm be okay with this. I mean, I'm using probably about, I'd say 90% of the space, which isn't great, but it's not terrible. So I'll be happy with what I got here. Although, that's weird. Not sure why I did that. So now what I need to do is I need to, I'm going to go ahead and select show. Oh, I think that something's going on for my piece here. Let's see, view, or wait, object. Okay, for whatever reason, something was hidden. I don't know what was going on, but so now next thing I need to do, now that I have my all my items packed, now I'm done with unwrapping. I don't want to touch that UV map at all, because if I were to move something now, it could potentially mess up things. So now that is done and all these items have been all packed like so, I'm going to go back into my modeling portion, and now the cool thing is I can go ahead and just move things around, and I can mirror things. And now if I were to, where I painted this side, it will mirror to the opposite side. So that's what I'm going to start doing, is I'm going to mirror this piece. So I'm going to go my blue wrench here, which is my modifier property, and just mirror that over. If I need to, I can mirror object to go to center. Let's see, so this one here, and actually I might go ahead and select a bunch of things I want to mirror over. So I know I need to mirror this item, I need to mirror this item, this one here, I need to mirror that item. So I'm just holding shift and selecting all the items I know I want to mirror over. I need to mirror these two corner pieces, and I think that's everything I need to mirror. I might want to mirror this one over, but I'm going to do a little trick with that one. So now, last thing I want to do is I want to select this last one, because this one already has a mirror modifier. Now I go to object, and I go into make links. I'm just going to go to modifiers, and it'll apply that mirror modifier to everything else. So that looks pretty good. We have our whole entire piano laid out. The last thing I want to do here is I want to apply this mirror modifier, because I want to take this piece here. I just want to manipulate a little bit. So I'm going to go to my right side, and I'm going to move this down. Might move it a little bit like so. I don't know. There, that looks pretty good right there. Yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah, okay. So that one is done, and my piano is now ready to be sent on the way. So now I have here, oh, actually I have one last thing. So this one here, I do need to actually custom, because these are all spaced a little differently. So I do need to go ahead and duplicate these. And again, every time I duplicate it, it's going to overlay that that UV shell on top of where it already lays. So therefore I'm in pretty good shape here. So I'm just gonna hit Control D. I'm gonna go to my top view in this case. I'm going to move this, so I know I need to have a space between the two keys, and it might help if I have my reference up. Unfortunately, I had closed out my other reference, but I do have a reference of the actual piano I can still look at. Let's see. So I'm just going to bring this down here just so you can see we do have this reference. So that's what I'm going to be using for the time being. Let's see if I can. Oh, I don't know what happened here. Okay, well, for some reason oh, well, I'll just go ahead and go back to the piano reference. Yeah, there you go. So I see I have one key between there, and then I'll take these two keys. I'll just duplicate these two, move them over, because I do have another key between, like so. And let's see, now I do need to duplicate this key. And so I'm just looking at my reference right now. If I were to duplicate these three keys, I know I have a space there. And then I just need to move this key one more over. So now we have all the keys in there, all these black keys. We have both foot pedals. I think we're basically complete with the modeling phase here. Of course, now if you look at your reference or the reference that I had been using, you'll see that you have additional assets that you could potentially put in there, you know, whatever you may want. In this case, we're only going to be worrying about the modeling the piano, as that's going to be that's just kind of be the level that we want to go to. Okay, so at this point though, we are ready to go. Now, if I'm just looking for my own reference, I just want to see how many triangles we have in this whole entire thing. Let's see. Let me go ahead and just. Oh, that looks kind of high. 24 triangles. Oh, that's fine. So 12 faces. Okay, so right now it actually isn't showing all my faces. If I wanted to, I could potentially come in here and, you know, maybe I will real quickly. I'm going to select all this. So this is just for my own sake. I don't necessarily need it for anything else, but I'm just going to do this just so I can give you just let you know how many triangles there are in this whole entire thing. So I'm just going to go ahead and duplicate that. And I'm going to convert to mesh. So now I see this whole entire piano. Now if that's correct, maybe it is. Yeah, I guess maybe it is correct. And this whole entire piano is less than 1,000 triangles, which isn't too bad. That's, you know, considering this is a low poly game mesh. And then what we're going to be doing the next, in the future videos, we're going to actually start to hand paste some textures on there. So I think that's pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and just remove this, and then there you go. All right, so now the last thing that you're going to want to do after, you know, finishing this piece up is you're going to export it out. You may want to come through here and actually name all these different things if you want. It's totally your call. I'm not going to worry about that right now, at least. But if you're, because really what I would do in a game engine is I would make this a single item, maybe two items. I make a stool and a piano, and that's all. And I would have basically any other accessories be their own items. But, you know, in this case, I'm just going to keep it all separated. I think it's fine for what we're doing. So I'm going to select everything here. Now I'm going to go to File and Export, and make sure you do select everything. And now I want to export it as a FBX. That is a pretty universal file type. Now I might call this something. So you're going to see all this here. So I might go piano demo like so. And I want to go limit to selected objects because I did select all the objects I want. And I just want to export out the mesh. I'm not worried about any of the lamp or armature because I didn't do any of the extra stuff there. I don't have any cameras I want to export. I just want to texture this. So I want to export all that. And really the other thing I might want, I definitely want in this case, I want to apply modifiers at center geometry, and that should be set on default. But apply modifiers, so therefore when it exports out, it'll actually just bake those modifiers right in, and I don't have to actually go through and apply any of those at this time. So it's just kind of nice because then it still allows you the flexibility of changing it later on if you realize, you know, oh man, the piano keys are too close, I can go into that array modifier and just adjust the array, opposed to actually having to go through and redo that whole process. So then I will just hit export FBX, and I named it, in my case, piano demo. And let's see. I should have a, yep. So now I have this piano. Looks pretty funny in this sense, but you know, I think it's overall I'm pretty happy with how it looks. The only thing I see right now that I might want to change is this is a pretty hard edge. So I might want to come in here and smooth off some of those edges. But other than that, though, I think I'm pretty happy with how this is looking at this point. And of course, I can. Yeah, I think it turned out okay. So, so in the next video, what we're going to be doing is we are going to go into Substance Painter. Of course, you may use Photoshop if you want. Now that's a little bit of a different process, but in our process, we are using Substance Painter. And then we are going to start to texture this out. I'll show you how to import this, and then I'll probably do a kind of a quick overview on texturing process and how I would go about it. Of course, everyone's a little different. So that'll be our next video for the texturing process.